So we're talking Unit 8 today. I just want to go over basics of Unit 8, what to expect, draw odds, the terrain, hunting pressure, everything that I've kind of experienced over the years, hunting, guiding, and scouting around in Unit 8. I kind of want to shed some light so that those of you who are resident hunters or non-residents that are trying to draw a tag for the first time kind of have an idea before you take the plunge here. So Unit 8 is a really awesome unit. It's a unit that really has everything that you can want in Arizona. It's got like canyons, it's got desert country, it's got cactus, it's got pine trees, it's got giant mountains, and it's got little creeks and rivers that border it and that are inside of it. It's got water tanks, it's got access. It's pretty much got everything Arizona has for you in one unit. All the terrain, the habitat, the features. It also has country that is good for big bulls, good for big bulls to go hide out in and grow old and mature. And those areas are not easy for humans to go and look at and pack bulls out of. So it's a really cool unit, guys. It used to be like one of Arizona's premier units. It got a lot of publicity 10 to 15 years ago. And as we all know, what happens when units get a ton of publicity and the draw odds and the tag numbers don't reflect the hunting pressure or don't deflect the hunting pressure from that, it can get overhunted. And I think that's what happened about 15 years ago. But it's growing back, and it's actually a really just overall quality unit to hunt elk in. It's similar in ways to 6A, given that it's a high opportunity rate considering the amount of elk and trophy style bulls in that unit. You can draw these tags. You can draw early archery tags with under 20 points, hovering around the 15-point range as a non-resident. And as a resident alike, you can draw them around that 10 to 12-point range typically. And they offer that late rifle hunt too for non-residents and residents, where you can draw it around that 10-point range, which is really good. When you look at those top tier late rifle units like Unit 27 or Unit 1 or Unit 23, where now it's taking you close to 20 points to draw, Unit 8 is a great unit to draw twice or three times within the 20-year mark, given the event that you might get lucky in between there, but at least you can hunt it twice in the same time span where you would put all your chips in on let's say, a Unit 23 late rifle hunt. So Unit 8 has big bulls. There's a lot of elk, but also a lot of pressure. They give out a few tags in Unit 8 because of the population. So in order to hunt these bigger bulls, you have to get off the beaten path. You have to go in areas where people will not go. And here's the thing. You have to look in areas where you're not going to find that many elk. It's almost counterintuitive if you're scouting, and it's very difficult to scout late rifle hunts during the summer. You want to do your early archery scouting in the summer. You want to scout where the cows are, where they're watering, the patterns and the habits, where the water is holding. And in the late rifle season or late archery season, because they do have a little late archery season there in Unit 8, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool chance to draw it a bunch of times. Very easy to draw around the 5-point mark. Very difficult hunt, but still, it's all about opportunity in Arizona. And we have the big bulls. So you want to be in the units that have bigger bulls in order for you to kill a bigger bull. In order for you to kill a bigger bull, you got to draw tags. So in these better opportunity type hunts like late archery or late rifle, it's just a good opportunity to experience that type of a hunt. But you have to get in areas in that late rifle season where you're not going to see 35 bulls hanging out. Sometimes you will. Sometimes you're going to be in a spot where there's all the bulls congregating in one area because the water has been really, really short, or for whatever reason, you just found a spot where all the bulls kind of got pushed into. But it's like I was saying before, it's kind of counterintuitive if you're scouting and you're like, hey, I'm not seeing anything. and it's late rifle season, or it's leading up to late rifle season, you want to get in those areas where these bulls are not going to get pushed. Here's the big warning of Unit 8. There is a lot of hunting pressure, okay? That goes without saying with the tag numbers and the location and the reputation that Unit 8 has. But the roads can be very, very brutal. So I didn't touch on many of the units I've talked about so far have not been a big issue with the roads. Unit 8 has some very, very brutal roads, and I've come in to problems when I've been talking with some guys about scouting and e-scouting, and you just can't scout. You can't predict or see exactly how bad these roads are online. So the best way to do it is get there in person and look at it, especially before your hunt, because you can come up with the world's greatest e-scouting hunt plan, and then when you roll up in a full-size pickup truck that's a 2024 model, and you realize, not only am I going to totally destroy my truck, but I'm probably not even going to be able to get in there in this thing because the roads are so narrow and so rocky. 6A can be like that too. I didn't mention that a whole lot, but 6A definitely has some bad spots. 6B as well. Anywhere really in Arizona that's on that northern section around Flagstaff, Unit 8. 7 West, those kind of areas, a lot of lava rock, a lot of bad roads. It's not all bad. There's some great spots to camp and in the pines and go hang out and drive your trailer in. But when you look on some of these areas, some of these roads that access some of that wilderness area on foot, or some of these parking spots, it's really hard to tell how bad those roads are, because it may be 2 miles. It may take you 2 hours. And I'm just warning you and just giving you a heads up to be ready for that as you encounter some of the e-scouting strategies that you go about doing if you do draw a Unit 8 tag. But guys, the sky's the limit in Unit 8. It's a great unit to hunt. Good draw odds. I encourage everybody that is in that 10, 15 points range as a non-resident, and that 15 and 10 point range as a resident, to consider Unit 8 as a spot to draw, just because of the opportunities, because of the trophy quality that exists in Unit 8. Again, guys, when I say that, I'm not saying there's 400-inch bulls walking around every tree, but what I'm saying is if you're physical enough, if you're willing to put in the work, you can dig up a 350 class bull. It does happen. And it happens more often than not, and even more so a 330 type bull, which is an awesome looking bull, and it doesn't get enough credit in my opinion. So consider Unit 8 a great spot if you're in that in-between points range where you're like, hey, I'm never going to catch up to trying to draw a Unit 9 early archery tag or Unit 23 tag. I don't want to wait another 8 years, and by that time the bonus point creep will put me in the odds, and I may not ever draw that automatically. So consider Unit 8 as one of those top tier units that don't require a ton of bonus points to draw. They do require you to be physical and get after it. It's not a hunt where you can do a lot of hunting off of your truck. So it's not like a Unit 1 hunt where it's very, very manageable from a vehicle, or short distances from a vehicle. Unit 8 does require you to be a little bit more physical, but that's okay. That's kind of, that goes with the territory, it being a little easier to draw and having a little bit bigger bull quality. You do sacrifice some of that access, and you do have to get physical about it. So I hope that helped. I hope you guys are ready to go and ready to draw Unit 8. It's a cool unit. I live real close, and so I get to kind of drive in there and hang out and mess around and scout and do all that stuff in my backyard. So that's kind of why I'm fond of Unit 8 personally. But it's a good unit. Definitely weigh it against your options if this is your bonus point year and you're thinking you might pull the trigger and try to draw a tag. If you have any questions, reach out to me before the draw or after the draw if you got lucky and you have a tag. And as always, I have some links in the description below of the guide service, outfitting, drop camps, and e-scouting type hunt packages where we do some scouting, not only online, but we do it in person, and we send it to you over the internet, e-scouting. So, but anyway, I hope that helped. Good luck in the draw. We'll see you next video.